In this example, we're going to create an array of lines that create the impression of a mesh design. So the first thing that I'm going to do is draw with my pen tool, and I'm just going to draw a random sort of shape. Hit enter on the keyboard to escape from the pen tool, and I'm just going to adjust this a little bit. I'm then going to draw another shape using the pen tool again, and this one might have a little bit of a pointy end to it. I'm going to choose the blend tool, and this is my first object for blending, and you'll notice that the little plus sign says, well, give me a second object for blending. So that's my second object. Now it's created a mesh, but it doesn't look quite right. So what I can do is, using my white arrow, I can choose points along the path and I can modify them. Actually, I just take off the fill as well. So I can pick up these points on the path. I can also use the convert tool to change that path altogether and start creating elements that way. Now, just because you can do this or you can use these tools, it doesn't mean that you always should use them. So just be careful with how much of this sort of wacky technique you use. Use it perhaps sparingly, and you don't need a fill on your shapes as well. So as you can see, it's blended from one path to the next path. I can then drag and drop this into Photoshop and make all of these lines white, and use my different layer filters to create interesting effects. So this is a nice way of creating a contrasting background or some visual interest within your graphic design. Sometimes you want to isolate just one shape from the rest of the composition. Use your black tool to isolate a shape. Double click on the shape you want to isolate. So we go into isolation mode, and you'll know that it's isolation mode because your screen looks slightly different. In this case, it's gone a little bit lighter, and I've got these odd commands up the top here. I can then adjust this path on its own, and it affects obviously the blend that I've created as well, but it just means I can focus on one object at a time. If I want to get out of hop out of isolation mode, go back via this arrow, and there we have it. So an interesting way to create a background.